Hi, welcome to another edition of End Credits. And today we're going to be looking at Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Now, before we begin, as always, facts and figures. Now, the movie was released on the 24th of May 1989, directed by Steven Spielberg. Now, the movie had a budget of 48 million, but it managed to gross 474,171,806, making this easily one of the most successful Indiana Jones movies. And it's not hard to see why. You've got Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, and you've got Sean Connery playing Professor Henry Jones. Yep, Dad is coming along. And this was fantastic. This is almost maybe a few years after Raiders. We still got the Nazis. Yes, he's fighting them. Yes, we're looking for some holy relic. This time we're looking for the Ark of the Covenant. Oh, wait a minute. That's the first one. What could be more bigger than Ark of the Covenant? How about the Holy Grail, the Chalice of Christ? Yeah, that's pretty much upping the stakes, pretty much, yeah. We also see the return of Denham Elliott as Marcus Brody. We also see the return of John Rhys-Davies as Salah. But we also have Julian Glover playing Walter Donovan, a character that we think at first is a good guy, but then he reveals his true colours. And oh boy. We also have Alison Doody playing Elsa, another character that we think is a good guy, and then we find out this really is a fantastic movie, and they went all out on this one, location wise. We even have a scene where Indy's having a fight on a tank, which really was amazing for me to watch. I mean, I loved every minute of that. But it was the interactions between Indy and Professor Jones that I absolutely loved. They absolutely nailed the kind of, he's a heroic adventure and Dad just doesn't quite get it. He doesn't understand, But we also have, and this was quite surprising, Michael Sheard playing Hitler in this movie. Now, I was a fan of Grange Hill, and I remember Michael playing a teacher in Grange Hill, and at the moment the name has escaped me. But I always remember, and I met him several times as well, and see him play Hitler in this, and no, I didn't realize at the time he played Hitler several times over his movie career, and yeah, it was quite eerie. But the movie in itself was fantastic. The stunts are amazing, the effects are amazing. And the final challenges as well. I mean, I was trying to figure out myself, how are they going to solve these problems? How do you get past this? And I admit, I was biting my nails when I was watching this the first time I saw this in the cinema. But I loved every minute of it. The music's fantastic. It is just, to me, it is the best of the Indiana Jones movies. It's fun, it's thrilling, it's exciting, and sealed off with what I consider to be the perfect signature. All our heroes literally riding off into the sunset. And then they made the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But for me, this was the best of the movies. I really enjoyed it. River Phoenix playing young Indy. I thought it was a nice touch, showing how he got the scar on his face, which apparently was a true story. How he got his fear of snakes. Again, a lovely touch. Brilliant action sequence. An actor that we lost way too soon. I would have, unfortunately, I believe it was drugs that took him. And it's a shame because he had so much potential, but at least we got to see him play an iconic role. But I would have loved to have seen more action from Indy in that. But they had decided at that point this was going to be the last one. They've had a good run, and let's end it that way. And why they decided to do Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Luckily, we're not going to be reviewing that. Skull. I don't think any indie fan talks about it. It's basically the movie we do not talk about. But The Last Crusade, however, gets a double thumbs up because it was everything and more that Raiders had been. They'd finally learned all the lessons, I think, from Temple of Doom. We didn't go too much on the horror. We went more for the thrilling adventure, the nail-biting, how they're going to get out of this, the action. And this was like, this is how they all should have been done. Well, that's all we've got time for today on this edition of End Credits. Join me again next week for another thrilling edition of End Credits. I'll see you then.